Today we will be discussing a topic which is very important for every person who enters the court. It is not only for the lawyers but also for the complainant or accused, or I may say the litigants who enters the court to know the stages of the trial. Mainly we will focus today on the discussion of the criminal trial. Now, when we say criminal trial, it's a very long trial because, as we know in our courts, it takes the pen because of the pendency long time to sort out any case and to reach to the conclusion or the judgment. Now, how does this criminal trial start? The legal language for this that anybody can put the law into motion. Now, how this starts? It starts by a simple complaint. It may be oral or it may be in writing to the police station. So first, when you go to the police station, either you give the account of the details of your complaint by way of oral statement, which the police officer may note down, or on a safer side, as I always advise, always give it in writing, because at police station they may miss out some important points which is very important from your angle of the case. So when you start, always the criminal trial or the beginning is the FIR, lodging of FIR. Now the simple word is the complaint. When we go to the police station, it's a complaint. The police turns either into an NC, that is non-cognizable offense, or an FIR, first information report. The police always do one thing, that they try to investigate the matter. They also ask you what are the proofs you have. So always carry the proofs. So the criminal trial or the criminal case is put into motion by a simple complaint to the police station. So the first stage is first information report, FIR. If there is an FIR taken, then from the complainant side, it's your complaint which has been taken cognizance by the legal machinery. Now next comes, after the FIR is lodged, is the remand. That is the arrest of the accused. Now here I would like to discuss one case. This is Arnav Kumar versus State of Bihar. It is one of the important judgment which I will be sharing with you also. Now this judgment was passed in the year 2014 by the Supreme Court on a case where 490 matter was pending before the lower judiciary. Now, when this matter came before the court, there was this point which was discussed that in all the matters, the arrest is not mandatory. Now, when the arrest is done in all such cases, the Supreme Court came out with the guidelines, then where there is punishment up to 7 years. Now, this is very important for everybody who comes up with the criminal cases, that any case where the punishment is up to 7 years, there is no arrest mandatory unless and until required, and the police officer has to note it. Now, once the FIR is lodged, the police investigate the matters, and at the initial stage, they may call the accused to the police station, record their statement if the offense is up to 7 years. But if it is a serious offense like murder, rape, dacoity, robbery, and the punishment is more than 7 years, or matters like POCSO, where small children are harassed sexually, then they may arrest the accused. Now, here there is a provision of the bail. Now, if the accused are not arrested, then you go for the anticipatory bail, where the powers lies with the session court and the high court. If the bail is rejected at the session court, then high court, and if the bail is rejected at the high court also, then by way of SLP to the Supreme Court. After the bail, the next stage comes is the charge sheet. Now, charge sheet is prepared by the police officer, at police station. Now, what is charge sheet? Charge sheet is your complaint, that is FIR, your statement. Then you may give some evidence which may be electronic evidence, which may be documentary, or there are witnesses, live witnesses to your incident, which who can go to the police station on your behalf, that is from complainant side, and give evidence and give the statement which will be recorded and part of evidence it will be later on. It will be complete part of the charge sheet, which may run into from 30 pages to 3000 pages, or maybe sometime more also. We have heard that there are charge sheets which are weighing up to 15 kg, 30 kg. Now this complete charge sheet is filed in the court. Now once this charge sheet is filed in the court, the first stage is that the matter has gone to the court. Now it is no more with the police station. So once the charge sheet is filed, you have to, as a lawyer, you have to explain to your client that now the matter is before the court, and whatever will happen at the court and not at the police station. This is very important point. As a lawyer, as a criminal lawyers, we should know it. Now, once the charge sheet is filed, the first stage will be this, the framing of charge. Now, framing of charge, what does it mean? Now, framing of charge means if there is some material which points out the guilt of the accused, or there is a prima facie case which says the accused has committed the offense. If there is a prima facie that it sees that we can see that there is a possibility that he or she may have committed the offense, then the magistrate or the session judge frames the charges. Now here one more thing you have to remember. There are police cases which are where there is a plea recorded instead of the charge is framed. Now these are the cases where if the charge is framed, that means it's a warrant case, and the punishment is more than 2 years. If it is less than 2 years, then plea is recorded. Like in check bouncing cases, 113 Negotiable Instrument Act, there will be a plea recorded. So always remember that there is a difference between summary tribal, summons tribal cases and warrant tribal cases. Now, at this stage, it will be actually difficult unless you go into practically to practice. But the one thing you can remember, that if it is less than 2 years, there will be a plea recorded. That is the first stage in the court. Or the second stage will be, there will be charge framed if it's a warrant tribal. Either it may be trial court. There are two trial courts. First is the magistrate court and second is session court. If the it depends on which the offense committed is tribal by which court. Now, once the charge is framed or plea is recorded, next stage is called out for the list of witnesses. Now, when we call list of witnesses, there will be witnesses from the prosecution side. The first, of course, will be PW1, that is the prosecution witness. Whenever you read something in the judgment, you will find PW1, PW2, PW3. That is prosecution witness. This is short form. PW1, mostly it will be a complainant. He will be examined. Then there are the witnesses who has given their statement before the police. They will be examined. Now, after these witnesses are examined, then the police officer who has recorded, that is investigation officer, in short, you will find IO, investigation officer. His statement will be recorded. Now, once his statement will be recorded, all the statement, at the same time, accused lawyer will be cross-examining all these witnesses who are examined by the prosecution. The prosecution will take examination chief, and the defense will cross-examine the complainant and complainant's list of witnesses who are available there. Once this procedure is completed, then there is a chance given to the accused for the recording of his statement. Under the old act, it is called statement of accused under section 313 CRPC. Now the law has changed, but now mostly the trial of the old cases are going on. So we have to go through the CRPC also, along with the new laws. Now, when the statement of the accused is taken, he is asked specific questions about the evidence which is recorded. Then he is also asked whether he wants to give some evidence, which may be oral, documentary, or he may produce his defense witnesses. Now, in the prosecution side, when we say that it's a PW1, PW2, on the defense side, it is DW1, DW2, DW3. DW4, it may go on like that. So now again, the examination chief will be conducted by the defense first, because it is a defense witness, and thereafter the defense will be all the witnesses will be cross-examined by the prosecution side, complainant's lawyer or the public prosecutor. Now, once this is over, the matter is closed. That is called the evidence is closed for both the sides, and the matter is rest for the arguments. Now, once the matter goes for the arguments will be done by both the sides, and once the arguments are closed, the matter is posted for judgment for the conclusion of trial, which will be either acquittal or into the conviction of the accused persons. Now, in between, there are some more stages which we can discuss, because criminal trial is not that small, which we have discussed now. There is a possibility of discharge. When the charge is framed, there is a possibility that the judge may see that what are the allegations against the accused level are not enough to frame the charges. In those cases, you can go for discharge also, or even the magistrate or the session judge, learned session judge may also discharge the accused, because charge is groundless. There is no enough material. The word used, there is no enough material. Once this is done, the next stage will be that case is closed. If there are more than one accused, one or two, three, if one is discharged, then the case will go on for the other accused. Also, there is one more new thing which is added, that is the bargaining of the plea. Now, in these cases, the accused negotiate the quantum of punishment. If he says he readily accepts the punishment given by the judge, then the case is closed into conviction. But if he does not, then the case will go on. This is called bargaining of the plea. But it does not happen in the serious cases, or the cases where small children are involved, or rape, or these, not in serious cases, only where the like check bouncing cases, or where the punishment is very less, that is up to 7 years. Now, when the plea bargaining is application is done, and once you accept the judgment of the court and you are convicted, your client is convicted, there is no appeal. Remember this. There is no appeal. Only under writ jurisdiction, you can go to the Honorable High Court of the respective state. So this is very important part, that whenever you go for plea bargaining, if the offense is very serious, and you know that there is the intuition that you may be convicted for a higher punishment, and there is no appeal, then you have to be very careful while doing the plea bargaining. Now, this is one part when FIR is lodged. Now, also there is another part when there is no FIR lodged. Suppose your client goes to the police station and the police do not take down the FIR. They say it is a non-cognizable offense. But you feel that there is enough material that is a cognizable offense. Then in such cases, you have to take the NC complaint from the police station, file a private complaint before the honorable court, that is magistrate court. And once you file that, if there is the magistrate finds that there is enough material or ground to proceed, then there are two ways to it. One, the magistrate will give order to the police station to register an FIR. That is called magistrate FIR also sometimes, MCR also it is called. Now, when the magistrate gives the order, then FIR is not, the procedure will again the same which I have explained. But if the magistrate finds that it is a summons tribal case, the offense is not that serious, it is summons tribal case, in those cases, what will happen, that the magistrate will issue the summons to the accused. Now, if you are unhappy with that, you can always go in the revision of the order or in the appeal of the order afterwards. But here it will be revision of the order, because it's not a final order. Now, when this is done, it is again a same procedure will follow. But summons tribal case, the procedure will be same, but it will be plea recorded. So summons warrant tribal, these are some legal terminology which you will understand as you will keep on practicing. Therefore, I always tell them start sitting in the courtroom premises so you will understand actually what is going on in the court and what is the legal terminology and what are the stages of the cases. Now, there is one few important judgments which I would like to share with you. One is this is very important judgment. Sharad Birdichan Sarda. This is versus State of Maharashtra. This is one judgment which I always tell in my lectures to read. Those who want to do criminal practice, it is one of the important judgment. And if you go through the judgment, there is lot of things which you can learn, and it is a one judgment which gives you the basic how the criminal trial travels up to the Supreme Court. This matter was before the Session Court, then the Bombay High Court, then the Supreme Court. How the matter travels up to Supreme Court and what are the stages of the case. So those who want to, I had gone once to the Junnar Court with this for one lecture, and when I mentioned this judgment, there were senior lawyers who were very happy that I have mentioned this judgment. They said that the junior must read this judgment, one of the important judgment. Then one very important judgment, that is Vishal Yadav versus State of UP, Delhi High Court. This judgment is delivered by Justice Geeta Mittal. One of the very longest judgment. I can see there are more than 2000 paragraphs. You may require at least 10 days time to read this judgment. But once you go through, senior advocate, let's say Ram Jethmalani sir, was there for the accused. And the basic thing which I found from here, there is one word, double hearsay. You have all heard hearsay evidence, but there is a word double hearsay evidence, which I came to see in this judgment. And this is one of the important judgment which says how the criminal trial, how deep you can go to defend your clients, your accused person. Then one very important judgment which came to in my research today, it is a very recent judgment from the Gujarat High Court. Royal Sunil Bhai Patel, through PO, it is power of attorney. See, when you read judgment, you come to know that through power of attorney also you can file the cases and you can fight the cases. Versus State of Gujarat, it is a recent judgment of 2024. If you read the last para, when I said if there is no material or there is not enough material to frame the charges, this is the case which will come to your help. I'll read the last para here. With the above background of the settled principles of law on perusal of Rojkam. Rojkam is a Rojnama in the or the word used. It is a word which has been not from the English language, but it is a local language. It appears that on 9 July, Rojkam is a Rojnama where what we speak in the Maharashtra. What has happened in that court that particular day, it is written as a Rojkam. That it appears on 9th of July 2019, the date on which the impugned charge was framed, the applicant original accused were not present before learned trial. See, it is on the framing of charge. And why it is very important stage, the first stage in the court. When the matter is called out and thereafter they had appeared at around 11:30 hours, that the Wakalatnama of the learned advocate for accused number 2 was submitted, which was taken on record at Exhibit 5. And thereafter directly the charge was framed at Exhibit 6. And pleas of the accused were recorded by Exhibit 7 and 12. It clearly transpired that the Rojkam does not reflect that as to whether the neutral citation, this is just this date, undefined learned additional public prosecutor was present or not, and whether the prosecution and the learned advocate for the accused were heard or not. Hence, it clearly transpires, this is very important, that the mandatory requirement of giving an opportunity of hearing to the prosecution and the accused was not followed. Hence, the application deserves consideration in view of the above settled principles of the law. Now, here we read, as a result, the application is partly allowed. The impugned charge, that is charge frame, Exhibit 6. See, when the charge is framed, there is a paper. The magistrate writes these are the charges against you. The Exhibit 6 is hereby quashed and set aside, and the matter is remanded back to learned trial court to follow the mandatory requirement of Section 239 Code of the Criminal Procedure 1973. Proceed accordingly. So, for framing of charge also, there is a procedure, and when you follow this procedure, it actually helps you to, I would say, somewhere the charge is thin, or it may be that you can, the gravity if of the offense can be diluted a little bit, because you are at the threshold where you can say that this these are the evidence which is not available in the charge sheet. There is a possibility. I had a 498 case where there was a charge of impotency against my client, and when the charge sheet was filed in the court, the report came actually that negative, that he was not impotent. So when the charge was framed, we brought it to notice of the court. So that cheating charge, which was leveled against my client, was dropped. See, the word used is dropped. There may be 498 charge and other charges, but the cheating, that he was impotent and still he was married to the lady, that charge was dropped. So in a way, at least if there are 2-3 charges under the IPC under the old act, even if one charge is dropped, it actually helps your client. So it is very important that you read the charge sheet very carefully, and at the time of the first stage, framing of charge, you are vigilant. So that was all for today. There are many other stages in that if after the conclusion of the trial, you may go in appeal. There is also a revision review. There are so many things it can't be covered in, but as it is said that the practice makes a man perfect, you have to keep on going. Once you keep on going in the court, you get to learn every day. We are always a student of the law, so keep continuing learning. Thank you so much, all of you, for